Hello everyone, I Shivang Joshi, co-founder of Law Community, welcomes you all at Lawyer Speaks. Today we have Dr. Vidyotma Jha, who is advocate at Supreme Court of India. She has done a PhD from Patna University in International Relations and Affairs. Apart from this, she is also a prolific writer and a public speaker. So we welcome ma'am to have an interaction with us to know more about her journey.
So my first question is, why did you pursue law? And can you share your experience in law school with us?
Well, I always wanted to be a lawyer because somewhere I felt like I could be the voice of people who are not heard sometimes. And sometimes I also, while watching cinema or TV, it also had a huge impact. Well, I used to like those shows wherein the lawyer was given immense respect or some kind of thrill was there in the profession. So, and also law and order kind of attracted me a lot initially, and so these became one of the prime factors. Then there was interest in legal aspects while growing up, so that was the basic thing. I could say that law actually interested me a lot. Then being at law school, it nurtured me, it made me more versatile. It added to my personality as a lawyer because until you join a law school, which was, I think, the best part of my career, because there I read a lot, I had good teachers, and there only I learned how to structure my arguments in the best light to make them successful. It was not in one day, but it took long time. But now I think being at law school helped me a lot because the initial things you learn in law school only. Later you can always make it more powerful by more reading and research.
So, what inspired you to pursue a doctorate in international relations?
International relations. I'm a master's in political science because initially I think all the subjects are related to each other. First of all. Secondly, international relations is a wide ranging subject. It's dynamic, and the dynamism in any aspect, the dynamism with respect to the international changing international scenario day by day, it is very interesting. And I was interested in governments, politics, comparative politics, constitutions, regions, regionalism, and the role the global players have in the international politics. And international relations is not only about politics, it's also about geography, it's about economics, how it impacts our relations with the global players. And especially in the era of globalization, international relations has a huge role to play in every aspect because world is a global village and one part affects another part. So international relations is, within its purview, it covers a lot of things like international laws, international issues like global poverty, humanitarian issues, international obligations of one nation towards the other, then international laws, genocide, crime against humanity, etc.
How is your experience as an advocate working in Supreme Court of India?
Supreme Court. Well, I think many will resonate with the fact that there is immense glorification of struggle in this profession. And people, this is a part of our culture that people take pride in being arrogant as their inner sense of entitlement comes with it. But, and we get to hear from our seniors, our elders, that how they waded through the difficult times, how they started from the scratch, and we have it all easy. But then we have our own share of struggles. The nature of struggle changes with time. And I also want to thank, I have been very fortunate being a first generation lawyer that I had very good seniors with, and my seniors were very supportive, encouraging. They gave me all the possible opportunities and sense of I want to thank them. Then eternal thankfulness is also there because they always gave me the opportunity to grow and learn. They never stopped me from learning. or never hindered my process of learning in these years. Otherwise, it would have been very difficult to come this far. So they have always helped. But I know there is some share of negative aspect also. I've heard, I have not, fortunately, I've not been through it, but I've heard that many youngsters are harassed or not treated properly. But this is the part of the profession, and we have to deal with it. Being in the profession, we cannot overcome it just in a day. Things will change. We can learn from this, and we can be a better version of ourselves in coming time.
So, what do you find most challenging about your profession?
Challenging part is meeting with the deadlines. When we get instructions at the last moment, in the last minute, and we are all hands on deck. We have to perform. We have to communicate. We have to do uh, the task in a best way possible. We have to deal with. We have to also take care of the preferences of the other partners in the work. And there are other challenges as well. They are like long hours of work, because a lawyer has, especially the litigating lawyer, has to work very hard, and they don't have the planned schedule like 9 to 5 jobs. They have to work hard because it will determine their success. And the work for working hard, they have to work extra hours, and anytime any kind of instructions from any agency that you are dealing with will can come in. So you cannot say no to them. You have to perform. You have to deal with those things because number of cases are lined up. You cannot skip any kind of activity. Meanwhile, you can only do one thing. You can plan it. The time management is very important here. But challenges also remain on the other parts. Like there's no you don't see money coming in very easily, and there is no gratification, immediate gratification, no tangent result, uh, and many things. Like you cannot say that money will, it is all a gradual process. It will come. You will not get the reward. You will not get anything. You will have to work hard, and it will come gradually. You will see it coming, but patience, perseverance will pay you. But nothing is very easy here. It takes long time, and you have always to one thing apart from challenges, you have to be very patient.
So, do you think that training on legal research is essential to undertake efficient research methodology?
Yes, training is important because until you know various aspects of research methodology, and the application part won't be easy for you, because legal research is not that easy. You have, and moreover, otherwise also, research means finding the facts, problems, solutions, and an insight to the issues. So, be it legal research or any other research that you do, you have to know the technicalities, the methodologies. You have to be systematic, scientific. So you ought to know the research methodology, because legal research involves many things: legal materials, a systematic study, supplement, judicial pronouncements. So there are many things that will add to the research. So emerging legal trends, policies, their relevance, efficacy, everything. So if one is trained well in legal research, it will have a huge impact on his career. No matter he pursues litigation or corporate law, it will help in the long run.
So, what are the legal measures that one can take to prevent fake news, which is quite prevalent these days?
Fake news. There is no law as such, because Parliament could never pass any stringent law. But we do have some legal recourse available for fake news, because people are being affected and victimized due to this. So we have National Broadcasting Association to take care in they probe the contents being aired or being published. Then we have broadcast International Broadcast Association, IBA, then which was created in 1919. Sorry, International Broadcast Foundation, created in 1999 to take care of the content being aired on 24/7 channels. Then we have Press Council of India, which was started in 1978, which can warn, admonish, or censure the news agencies journalists, editors. We have broadcast complaint council. There are many agencies. We have under IT Act we can, because it, now cyber crimes etc. are coming up. So we have section 69 under IT Act, wherein we can any news agency if can be called upon, and if they don't provide with the interception of information, then they can be sentenced for 7 years imprisonment. So they have to. Then we have more potent laws under Indian Penal Code, sections 153 and 295. If there is some kind of hate speech being published or being shown, or any gory images, something like that on media, and which is affecting the senses or the masses or any community as such, then we have section 499 and 500 to take care of defamation, etc., being caused to people or organization whosoever. So free press is actually something free. We know about Article 19, freedom of fundamental rights, and Article 19 under it, which says freedom of speech and expression is an important part of our constitution. It is enshrined in our constitution that we all the individuals, everybody in this country is granted the right. It flows from there that we have freedom of speech and expression, and so free press is a part of it. So we cannot actually stop it from publishing or showing us. The media can't be stopped anywhere, but we have to deal with it, though it is dangerous for us. Yeah.
So, my next question is, what are the major legal issues that are being observed during this pandemic?
Pandemic, yeah, this is something very serious, and it has impacted the world order. Rather, it has brought us all the world, or the world order is at a grinding halt. We are not moving. We have become static in some way, and International Monetary Fund (IMF) has very aptly said that the world is going to plunge over a great economic depression post the pandemic. The economic growth and the GDP across the globe is going to be like as low as -3%, which is a negative growth. About 170 countries will experience negative growth. We have a good news here from IMF itself that India will be maybe in a better shape economically, and it will have V-shaped recovery and 9% growth, economic growth. So it's a sort of good news, but times will tell how far it is going to happen. And otherwise, there are every sector every business is going through a challenge. They're all impacted by the rapid spread of COVID-19. So be it supply chains, workplaces, health, safety obligations, aviation sector, in every sector we can see that we have started record keeping in a better way, protecting our sensitive personal data. Business continuity plannings have started like in another way, like how it can happen now after this pandemic. We have to think in a different way. Certainly there are many legal issues also, like labor laws, employment issues, migrant workers issues, domestic violence, people in employment, like permanent exclusion of people from vulnerable employment. Especially vulnerable employment is referred by ILO, International Labour Organization, for women or such people who are not in the regular employment. They are the most affected sector, which is not even being questioned. India is faring lowest in that. Otherwise also, so post the pandemic, these people may not return to work, and another kind of poverty will surge. They will have more issues. They may not come back to work. They will have issues with finance. They will have many problems, health issues rather. They cannot take care of their health, and so they cannot come back to the employment when the economy fully opens. So it will be a problem later. So these issues are actually, we can say that these issues are very heartening, but they have affected our economy, every sector rather.
So, any advice that you would like to give to a law professional who has initially started their career or one who is still studying?
Legal profession is one of the most respected profession across the globe. It is uh, people actually look up to lawyers as not only very knowledgeable and intellectual people, but this profession seems very glamorous to people outside. And we should take pride in being part of this fraternity. And I'll say the same thoughts. I will pass on same thoughts to the young professionals or the people who are still to join the fraternity. I'll ask them, urge them to make most of their these 3 to 5 years in law school, because they will get to know in later part of life that it has a big role to play in their career. How far people like us have come is because of the law school we have been in. So law schools have a great role in shaping your career. One has to make the most of the time they are given in those schools. They can do many activities like volunteering, participating in moods, fest, internships, workshops, explore the opportunities, like as much as your mind travels, and as much as you want to, as much as you can think of, you discuss it with your mentors, professors, seniors, and no one knows what is best for you. It is you who has to decide, who has to think, and it is your journey. But yes, meeting people, communicating with them, discussing things will make the things very clear. You can also go for legal aid awareness programs for disadvantaged and underprivileged. You never know where the right path is, but you can explore, and the basic idea is exploring about your own self and then joining the profession.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for having such an amazing interaction with us. And it will definitely gonna benefit a lot of young minds. And we are delighted to have a time with you. And law community is grateful for the same. Thank you so much, ma'am.